Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new mobile pass performances, featuring exclusive buyer speed figures and expert analysis and selections. Go to DRF.com/best and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Sunday, June the 28th. It's 100 grander at Belmont. Let's throw up the field for the Bouwerie. 7 furlongs, New York-bred 3-year-old fillies. A field of 6 in here. Trainer Jeremiah Engelhardt has 2. But, Mike, both of them coming off layoffs.
Yeah, I think the layoffs are the big concern for those two horses. I think that they both looked pretty talented as 2-year-olds, Dan, but coming back at 7 furlongs off of layoffs, not that easy.
Interesting time form U.S. pace projector for this race. The 2, Ilchester Cheetah, expected to be the early leader. Hey, I'm not going to knock Ilchester Cheetah. She's won 5 times in her career. The rest of this field has won 8 times combined. Ilchester Cheetah's a win machine. She's going to have to prove it against stakes competition, however.
Yeah, it's a pretty good step up in class. So she does have the advantage of a recent race that some of her, major rivals don't have. I do think she can make the lead in here, Dan. But boy, it feels like it might be pretty tough for her to get to 7 as well.
Dave Grenning, as always, did yeoman's work with the DRF Race Advance for the Bouwerie, talking about the Engelhardt runners, especially the one Critical Value, who was down at Oaklawn Park preparing for a start down there. She had some issues with her feet that precluded her from racing. Thus, she's coming back off a 6.5-month layoff. She last ran in the Demoiselle. I think the mile and an 1/8 worked against her. And I think if Arad Ortiz had to do it all over again, he just would have went on with it. He broke like a shot with her. He could have made the lead, and he wanted to rate and get off that gold rail, and that probably didn't help.
Probably not. All in all, she ran pretty well in that race, considering who she was running against and, trying a mile and an 1/8, all those things. She ran fine, but it's her prior 2 races that, they just sort of make her the horse to beat in here, Dan. She was a very good 2-year-old. I know there's a layoff to deal with here, and maybe things haven't gone perfectly for her over the winter, but she is the horse to beat in here.
Ilchester Cheetah might very well be the early leader. She's won 2 out of her last 3, beaten last time out in an off-the-turf race at Churchill Downs, a race where she kind of got bothered a little bit at the start and couldn't take up her customary spot near the lead. I think we'll know her early here. The question is, can she get the 7 against this tougher competition?
Yeah, I didn't think that she was going to be able to do that. I guess we'll find out. I do think she'll make the lead in here. I didn't think she could really get loose, Dan, and go some kind of slow pace. There were too many other horses in this field who have tactical speed. I don't think they're going to let her get away.
Question for you about the 3, Naked Avenger, who just looked so good winning her first 2 starts. Since then, she hasn't come close to that form. Now, is it simply a situation where she was a very precocious 2-year-old that has not moved on? Or in her last 2 races at Gulfstream Park, maybe she was just in way too tough?
Yeah, she was in pretty tough in those races. And listen, she wouldn't be the first horse to, winter down in Florida, and not really show their best form down there, then come back to New York and turn it around quickly. It could happen for her. I'm sort of torn on how good I think she is, Dan. Going back to her maiden win first time out, I felt like she got a little lucky to win that race with a perfect trip. But she came back and won a stakes race at her next start with a solid figure. And, she ran fine in the Maid of the Mist. She was no match for Critical Value, but she ran fine in that race. I can see her taking a step forward here.
Risky Mischief, expected to be a good thing in her debut. She was odds on, a $350,000 daughter of Into Mischief. She didn't disappoint. She ran off the screen. She was thrown to the wolves in her second lifetime start in the Grade 1 Spinaway. I'm not going to hold that race against her. In Grenning's DRF Advance, it said she had some ulcers after that race. I like that Jeremiah's given her time. I think she's got more upside than the one horse, Critical Value, the other Engelhardt runner.
I do think that she has a lot of upside as well. We'll see what happens. I'd probably be more comfortable if this was 6 and not 7 off the layoff. That being said, her career debut was really, really impressive. She looked like a good thing that day, so much so, Dan, that when they entered her in the Spinaway, I didn't think it was ridiculous at all. I did not think it was a crazy spot to run her in. She didn't run well that day, but I didn't think it was nuts to run her in that race. I'm expecting her to come back off the layoff and run pretty well here.
I think the 7's going to be okay for Courageous Girl. We take a look at her most recent start, the Maddie May Stakes. She showed speed going a 1-turn mile. She is 34-1 in this race. She is on the lead, and she runs pretty well against Ice Princess, a 2-5 favorite. Easily second best, Mike. This was a breakout performance for Courageous Girl, and turning back to 7, I think she could be aggressively ridden here.
Yeah, that's certainly the best race she's ever run. We'll see if she can back it up here. I'm with you. I don't think cutting back to 7 necessarily has to work against her. I do think that this is a better field, though, than that Maddie Mayfield was.
Big Q hasn't been seen in about 6 months. She ran well in the Franklin Square last time out. She was just no match for the winner that day. She is a stakes winner at 6 furlongs. She is another one that's going to have to prove her mettle at 7, but she draws the right post position, a nice outside attack post where Johnny Velasquez can keep an eye on everybody.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what she does. Another horse, Off a Layoff, who was a good 2-year-old last year. She ran some really nice races. And as a matter of fact, she comes in with the top speed figure in the field. She earned an 81 when she won that Key Sense. A figure like that makes her very tough in here.
We take a look at our top selections for the feature at Belmont on Sunday. I think the odds are going to get a little closer at post time between the two Engelhart runners. Critical Value 6-5 on the line. Risky Mischief 3-1. Critical Value is going to be my top selection in here. She has a little bit more experience, but Risky Mischief, if she runs back to that debut or even improves just a little bit off of it, boy, she's going to be a really interesting one to follow in the New York bred ranks this year.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping she'd come back fresh and sharp off the layoff and can maybe start to build on that debut last summer at Saratoga, because she ran great that day.
1562 for me, 4163 for Mike. It's the $100,000 Bouwerie, race 8 at Belmont on Sunday, approximate post 5:04 Eastern. Best of luck.